success, dreams in the making. I grinded for it, seems like an eternity. Now I know what it takes to make it. EYG the label, EYG the brand. EYG the label, and EYG the brand. Just elevate your grind. Exclusive young G's, put the city on our back. Grinding through the mud, climb up out the strong. Elevated status on done. EYG the label, EYG the brand.
Still upset that song ain't dropped.
More in the archives.
12 episodes later.
That's right.
Boy, you gotta get that's exclusive.
Yeah, I guess that was made for the podcast.
Yeah, it had its own meaning, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Man, how y'all brothers doing?
We good, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm just sitting in the back. You see, I got my Jizzle shirt on. You know, King Jizzle, man. And then I got my boy in the background. Check him out.
Hey.
Ferocious vibe, you know. Hey, I've been on that how you living for like a month straight now, right?
I would say, bro, every day.
Every day. On repeat. At Planet Fitness.
Yeah, if y'all ain't got that jizzle yet, and y'all been watching every episode, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'll be ashamed of yourself.
We're gonna make sure our guest got that Jizzle James too. Because I know she ain't got it right now, so we're gonna make sure she download that thing.
I'm gonna start sending my old care package. I'm gonna start sending the guest old care package.
Oh yeah. You gotta put your sticker. You got some more stickers?
Boy, them stickers on deck, merchandise in the closet, ready to go any moment. About that time.
Yeah, bro. I got the sticker on my dresser.
I seen one in the barbershop when I was at the house. I was like, look at Bell got the sticker in there on the little thing.
Oh, right. on the mirror?
Yeah, on the little one of the little thing, you know, the way keep it clippers it.
Man, they what you're supposed to do, man. You gotta represent.
Man. You know, you see your stuff, you're like, oh man, shout out to you, bro. All right.
Really man. How your day been, Representative?
All right.
Matter of fact, how's your week been since the grand opening?
All right.
So the grand opening was on August the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
So actually on August the 10th, I started back classes. So I was doing summer school from basically May to August the 6th. I think we got our grade back on August the 6th or the 5th or the 7th. Then I started my residency. So part of my like executive MBA program is we have to convene as a cohort for 1 week and kind of do team building, you know, build camaraderie, and we do like group projects together. So I spent a whole week on campus at Auburn University at the Auburn University Hotel, Conference Hotel, for a week, like I was a student. So I walked to class, you know, all I rode, I called it a ride to class or whatever. And then I would actually sit in the classroom from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then I would have to do group assignments or homework with my teammates. So, you know, I would do like an 8 to 8 day every day.
What?
Yeah.
How long did that last?
From Tuesday to Saturday morning. Saturday at 1:30, I finished at 1:30.
They took y'all back to undergrad.
Yeah, man, that was rough, man. For me to sit in the classroom, but like, boy,
I gotta get a walk around.
Man,
I hope you had some New Balances on.
Boy, that was rough. That was rough right there. That was rougher than sitting in the session at the state house, because at the state house you can do whatever you want to do. Like you can talk, you can be on your cell phone, you can walk around. We just in class. And so I go from class to doing a photo shoot on Saturday for some of my campaign photos, to going all the way to Albany, Georgia on Sunday to do a photo shoot for Rural Leader magazine. And then Monday started like classes. So
I saw you in Albany, man. Y'all was at the Ray Charles
Plaza.
Yeah, that was dope. That was my first time seeing it.
Me too. I didn't even know it existed.
I see. I like Ray Charles
he got a whole plaza with the piano, everything.
Everybody got a statue.
And it played music. The whole time it plays music. All his hits. The whole time. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope, right there.
Bro, I gotta make my way down there to see that.
Yeah, man. Dope, like I said, man, I've never seen it before. And they was like, oh yeah, you know, it's been here. So that's where they take the pictures at for. Basically, it's like 40 under 40. The honorees for 40 under 40, like for the Rural Leader magazine. Then they picked the top 4. So I made it to the top 4. And then I guess all 4 people are on the cover of the magazine. And then you get your own little highlight of what you accomplished throughout your life or this year. And some supposed to happen on September the 3rd, but I don't know. They're supposed to announce some kind of winner. I wasn't really listening. But it was something cool. She was telling me while I was walking away. I was like, "Oh, okay." I just know September the 3rd, something's supposed to happen. That's it.
That's the day after. That's the day after Jill's birthday.
Yes, sir.
What you doing for your birthday, bro?
Planet Hollywood, Cancun, Mexico.
Hey, one thing that boy gonna do is he gonna go to Cancun.
Yeah, right. That boy gonna go on a trip every birthday. He gonna kill.
He going to Mexico or Jamaica.
Washboard apps, man. I've been working on them, bro.
That's why you been in Planet Fitness every day.
you can't go in a hash slipping, bro. It's really, but your whole outfit is nothing but skin. It's just your outfit on them trucks, bro.
Shoot, that's what's up, man. You got anything else coming down the pipeline before your birthday?
Nah, bro, just really like locking in, you know what I'm saying, getting the mind right before it. Then soon I could touch back down, man, shooting another visual that weekend and just about to visualize them out, man. Promo and marketing about to pick up, man.
What's you shooting a visual for? Which project?
It's still right now to me it's probably gonna be Man on a Mission. You know what I'm saying? But that could change depending on how I'm feeling. But right now that's what it's gonna be. But after that, man, just continue hitting with the visuals, bro. Marketing, promo, man. Start doing some of these shows when the fall hit, man. Just keep building on that momentum, bro.
Hey, bro, we're gonna do a how we living photos of a video next summer, bro.
Hey, bro, because you know how they be late with songs. You know how they be like, man, this song okay? Nah, it's gonna be a perfect set.
We gotta have a yacht party. We got that.
Yes.
All right, where we gonna be in Miami?
Shoot, I don't know where we want to be.
All right, well, hey, our guest happens to live in South Florida, so get them guest room ready.
We need an Airbnb, timeshare, bar the room, or wherever we need to be.
Yes, sir. That's what's up, man. That's motivation right there.
Yes, sir. Sure. What you been up to, Job? I know you. Shoot,
Bro, listen, these past 2 days been the busiest days I done had in probably 2 years, bro.
Said last week.
He said last week. Nah, bro, listen, I'm gonna tell you my day yesterday. Yesterday, woke up at 5, rode my bike, came to the crib, did an audition at like 8 in the morning. Then I had another audition to do at noon. Then I had to go to a meeting at 4. And then at 6, I had to go like 45 minutes away, like in Calabasas, and coach these twins for audition. And then I got an audition, and they did an audition with me, like a dance audition. I got home probably like 10, bro. My day was so long. Today, same thing. I had 2 auditions. That's why I was a little late, like a couple minutes sending the link because I was upstairs like doing this last scene, and bro, it's intense. Like when I say the role is intense, it's intense, like a maniac. So I had to go to a very deep place. So I couldn't get on the podcast like right after I finished the audition. I had to like decompress. So when you called me, I was just about to tape. That's why I was like, hello.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. I'm tomorrow, man. I hurt my hand. I broke the table.
Boy, you're going too far in character.
I broke a little dinner table, bro.
That boy went like Michael B. Jordan, boy. All
right. Hey, look, bro.
On that Wakanda.
Hey, listen, bro. You gotta go deep, man. It gotta be authentic. You know what I'm saying? So, I was crying in the second scene. So yeah, bro, it was intense. So yeah, I'm about to send that in when we get off of here. But yeah, other than that, man, just grinding. On the writing tip, still setting up these meetings.
Yes,
trying to see who's gonna bite on this show, this hit show that I got.
Yes, all right. Put it in the album, man. Put it in the album.
Already in there.
Yes, sir. It's gonna happen for sure. It's just a matter of when, not if. So yeah. But yeah, we ain't gonna prolong. We at like minute 10. We're gonna bring our guest in. This guest is a friend of all of ours, but you know, she happens to be a relative of mine. Her name is Stephanie Freeman, and she's in the pharmaceutical realm. So I don't think we have anybody. The only person we had in the medical industry was the veterinarian, right?
Yeah.
And Chantrell.
Yeah.
Chantrell. So I think this will, you know, kind of give us a complete realm of you know, the medical industry with her, because this is a part of the industry that I think a lot of people are capable of tapping into, but they don't really know how to get into it. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring her out from the green room. I know she's back there eating a bottle of hot wings and drinking a bottle of Fiji water. She's a little bougie.
Bougie.
Oh, she don't eat no chicken. I forgot.
Oh, she eating carrots.
she better eating carrots and spinach.
Buffalo
Thank you. And you got me some wine. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, we did it.
This green room is popping. Thank you.
Yeah, we even put your kids' picture in the back.
Yeah, everywhere I go.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm great. Living my best life.
Yeah, you definitely doing that. You definitely doing that, man. Listen, thank you for coming on. I know you've actually tuned into a few of them. Most of our guests, they be new to the platform, but I know you've seen a couple. And I've been trying to get you on here, but we finally got the schedule right. So thank you for joining the platform.
Thank you for having me. I should be interviewing you guys based off what I'm hearing. You guys got everything going on. I need to be interviewing you.
Hey, you always welcome to ask questions on the roundtable. But matter of fact, we're gonna let you ask some questions at the end because I know you got some.
All right, sounds good.
But let's focus on you. All right. So tell the people where it started for you. Like where did the journey begin for Stephanie at the time, Stephanie Baker?
Stephanie Baker.
Born and raised.
You want me to tell the people where I'm born and raised? I'm trying to keep that.
No, look, that's a part of the journey. Hold on. Let me get you off this screen. That's a huge part of why you being who you are is so significant, because where you're from.
Right,
you know?
right.
So tell the people where you're from.
So I am from Salem, Alabama. I actually grew up right with Jock's mom in the same home to a certain extent. We grew up together. But anyway, I grew up in Salem, Alabama, went to school there, graduated school there at Beauregard High School, and then I went on to get my undergraduate at Auburn University at Montgomery, and then my MBA at Troy University. And I've pretty much lived almost everywhere in the Southeast through the journey so far. Started out in Montgomery, Alabama in school. And then I moved to Tennessee, Nashville, Chattanooga, back to Alabama, and then to Louisiana. In Louisiana, I spent time in Mississippi and Louisiana, and then to Florida. So I didn't live in Georgia, but I spent every summer in Georgia with my cousins. So I guess you could kind of say I lived there, but I've spent a lot of time in the Southeast. And coming out of my master's degree, I started with in operations with State Farm Insurance in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And there I was an operations manager, a project manager, agency recruiter, held various roles there. But I felt like I had this entrepreneurial thing going on that I needed to tap into. And then also my daughter was getting ready to go into college, and I wanted to be able to have a stream of income that would allow me to be able to help her in school. And so it was either go into agency or find some other occupation that would allow me to be able to do what I needed to do, both for myself and for my daughter. And I didn't want the overhead for going into agency, or couldn't afford the overhead. So I ended up hearing about pharmaceutical sales. And the person that told me about pharmaceutical sales was like, this is the closest you're going to get to owning your own business without the overhead.
And this was year what of you doing?
This was 19. I'm gonna age myself, but
you don't have to say the year. Just what year were you in State Farm?
I was 6 years in.
Okay. So you did
Well,
a
as a
switch.
matter of fact, I tell you what, I was probably 4 years in because it took me 2 years to break into the industry. So
Okay.
I started to break in. I started to try and break in, and then it took me 2 years to get in. And I had to get on my grind. I had to hustle. I had to network like crazy. Every single person that I came across, I literally built a spreadsheet of people that I had met that were in the industry so that I could continue to cultivate those. And then finally it popped. And when it popped for 2 different companies at the same time. And I ended up getting on with Johnson and Johnson. I guess I could back up and tell you what I did before State Farm, because I think that's kind of pivotal as well. I worked for Electronic Data Systems. It's a Ross Perot company. And there I was actually a reconciliation accountant. And while there, I actually got the opportunity to work with Price Waterhouse.
In layman term, what is that?
What is what? Electronic Data Systems?
No, your position. What did you say?
Reconciliation accountant.
That.
So,
That sounds so crazy.
so basically what I had to do was reconcile. We had certain accounts and I had to reconcile their books for them. Right. In a nutshell, that's about as easy as I can explain that. And while I worked there, I was working on my master's. So I knew I wasn't going to stay there. I knew I wanted to leave Alabama. I just kind of worked there to get the experience while I was there. But I did get some really great experiences. I got to work on some continuous improvement projects. Worked on a project with Price Waterhouse Coopers to do some business process reengineering. Got to make a presentation to the Department of Education, because what we did there was we redesigned the process for the direct student loan program. And we worked with Price Waterhouse Coopers to do that. And so that was kind of my first taste of doing sort of the business process reengineering. I loved it. Tried to break into consulting after that, but it didn't happen right away. But I was good at it. So I just started to kind of apply those principles to everything that I did. So when I started with State Farm, I started to apply eliminating redundancies and processes, inefficiencies, any of those kind of concepts to everything that I did, and it worked for me. So I started to get promoted. But then, of course, like I told you, it wasn't what I needed for my family at the time, and that's when I broke into pharma. And that first job was Johnson and Johnson, and I started in Nashville. Then I got transferred to Chattanooga. I got kind of poached from Johnson and Johnson to Novartis, and in both of these roles, I'm a rep still. I was with Novartis for 6 years, moved to Birmingham with Novartis, got promoted, moved to a district manager role, moved to Shreveport, Louisiana, which was kind of a means to an end. If you've ever been to Shreveport or Bossier City, Louisiana, you know there's nothing there.
There's absolutely nothing but a bridge.
Nothing there. It was literally the epitome of doing something to get somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was means to an end, because I knew I had to make some sacrifices to get to the next role. Oh, we just
still. So. You getting them chips, so it don't matter.
You know what? The chips, okay. But it's like with pharma, you got to make some sacrifices to get to a certain place. And I think that's with anything, right? You got to kind of go through something to get to it. And so that was just kind of the sacrifice that I was willing to make to be able to get to a bigger and broader thing. And so from there, I ended up getting on with Amgen, which is a biotech company. And that's what brought me here to South Florida. And I came here as a district manager. And then I was, oh my gosh, I've had so many awesome experiences since I've been here. And I was promoted to regional sales director. And then I did that for a year. And just recently I was promoted to a global director.
Yeah!
Global director. That's good.
I was waiting on that one, boy. That girl just got that promotion. I don't drink, but if I did, I would be toasting right now.
All right, so I'll drink it for you.
Yeah, global.
She using all business vernacular. That's like all the stuff she's talking about. It's like if you don't got your MBA or stuff like, if you're not in business,
Yeah.
you don't know those terms because
Bruh,
basically
that's why I told her what that mean in layman's terms.
yeah.
Break it down.
Yeah.
All right, so you moved to South Florida. I remember when you made the move.
Yeah.
And you started off as a regional director, right?
Start off as a district manager for Miami and Puerto Rico.
Miami and Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And you did that for how many years?
I did that for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And within that 9 years, now I was promoted to an executive district manager. I was awarded Coach of the Year. I have
multiple times, right?
Yeah, Coach of the Year, multiple Chairman's Circle, multiple Team Excellence Awards, and Coach of the Year. And then I was promoted to executive level district manager, which is kind of like the top level. And then after, and was able to work on like multiple projects in-house, which is where those skills started to be noticed because of some of the rotations and in-house projects I was able to work on. And that's why I was able to kind of get promoted to the regional sales manager. And the region is like Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, the Carolinas, Virginia, West Virginia.
Man, that's a whole heap of places to be in charge of.
Who do you work with now? Like what countries or what foreign partnerships do you have now? Because you said global, so that means basically you're here in every continent.
So in this role, my stakeholders is what we call the Big 10. So hold on 1 second, I'm going to tell you what that is. And so the U.S., of course, is one, and then I have Canada. 1 second, guys. I have to write these down.
Got them locations.
All right, so it's Japan, Australia, China, UK, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, Canada, and US. So the Big 10 for us, from a volume perspective, those are all my key stakeholders.
Okay.
Sheesh. Whew. Is that so? That was gonna be one of my later questions. But out of those 10, because I didn't know it was 10. I think when we talked, you mentioned a few of them. But which one of those regions are you looking forward to going to, like the most?
Gosh, I'm not looking as forward to going to China and Japan yet. I guess I'll get there. But of course, France, Spain, Italy, that's a no-brainer. Maybe Japan, I don't know. I'm just kind of, and then Switzerland is in there. It's one of the smaller regions for us. I have a colleague of mine that's in Switzerland, so I will get the opportunity to spend some time too. I always thought that was an interesting place to go. And then I think Australia is another place that's not as large as some of the others, but it's definitely somewhere where, you just kind of sit back and think that would be somewhere cool to kind of explore. So I'm looking forward to that. I earned a trip to Barcelona, Spain that I was supposed to go to this year in November. And guess what happened? COVID. Yes. So I'm looking forward to a meeting.
That'll be a great meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your position, what exactly are you, what are your duties for this job now with the global position? What exactly were you doing?
So I'm responsible for anything having to do with field execution and planning, right? So creating alignment that's aligned with our COO's priorities for anything field execution and field priorities. So right now, the 10 that I just named, we call them regions. And these 10 regions tend to kind of go off on their own to do some of the things that they do from a customer centricity perspective or field execution perspective. And what our chief operating officer wants to do is to create more alignment across the globe. How can we share more best practices? How can we eliminate inefficiencies? How can we be more productive? How can we streamline a lot of the things that we're doing? Anything that has to do with how we execute from a field perspective, which is our sales team, and how we plan to execute and how we approach our customers from a 360-degree angle. So my job is to kind of be the conduit of alignment for all of those 10 countries so that we can achieve those priorities for our company.
And I would imagine that came from, I would imagine you got this position just based on the level of what you were able to do your last job, you know, because you received all these, I read up on it, right? So you received all these accolades for like how you ran your team and how you motivated your team. And it makes sense for you to be transitioning to that role because it seemed to be, you know, like a second nature thing in you.
Yeah.
You know, this is Supervisor Junior, you know, everybody. My mom is Supervisor, this Supervisor Junior. So, you know, it just seems to be a natural thing for her to be able to get people on one accord and at a larger scale. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she planned our family reunion in like a week. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this was just a part of the plan. So when it comes to this position, will you be bringing a lot from what you were already doing into the position, or did you have to like revamp everything you were doing?
Yeah, so definitely because of the nature of the role, field planning, execution, what we're doing, our customers are that's the commercial side of the business. That's the sales side of the business, which is where I came from. So naturally, I'm going to draw from those experiences that I've had to kind of be able to create those field capabilities that we need in order to evolve. And the issue, and the reason why we need these things is really on the backside of COVID. That was something that accelerated the evolution that we need to make in how we approach our customers, how we customize our services and support and our selling to our customers. And so while the experiences that I had on the commercial front definitely helped to give me an edge in this role, quite frankly, it was the things that I did before getting into pharma that attracted our chief operating officer. I had a one-on-one with him, and I told him that I had project management experience, business process reengineering, had worked on some continuous improvement projects, and had operations experience at some other companies. That was the thing that attracted him to me, was those experiences plus that, because I had a diverse background, and that's what they're looking for in order to transform and evolve the company and take it into the future.
There's a lesson in that. We're not gonna breeze by that, you know, because us three can relate to that as well. Like, you know, you're at the, I'm not gonna say the height of it because you're gonna grow even more, but you're in a great place in your company, in your field, of what you do. But what you did prior to get to where you at helped elevate you in the field that you're in now. And you know, we can all attest to that with, you know, going to college and being an athlete and all of the stuff we had to do, the strenuous schedules and just the morals and the life lessons that football teach you.
Yeah.
Anything you do after that, you know, you can pretty much draw from that. Yeah. So yeah.
The key, and this is what I tell all my mentees and what I used to tell my team, the key is whatever your niche is, whatever your strength is, whatever that thing is that you do well, doesn't matter what industry it is, doesn't matter what it is. If it's leadership, if it's coaching, if it's project management, if it's people, if it's whatever that thing is that you've identified, that when you're doing it, you can do it all day and you're very good at it. You have a high standard of excellence for it. That's what you lean into. And that's what you take to each and every role.
Amen.
You find a way to apply that to whatever you're doing. And that way it becomes, it's natural, it's innate to you, and you'll always continue to excel. The issue comes when people try to change and become something that they're not, and try to mimic what they see other people doing in order to be successful. But you have to lean into what you're good at, and then you take that and continue to hone that skill and tweak it and make it fit to whatever that thing is that you're doing.
Ooh, that girl on here preaching. Hey, it is not Sunday. And it ain't Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? It ain't Wednesday. So, you know, y'all get y'all that.
It might drop. It dropping on Sunday.
Yeah, it's gonna drop on Sunday. So she give y'all some sermons.
Testimony Tuesday.
Testimony Tuesday.
That's right.
Man, hey, look, that's a mouthful right there because I feel like a lot of people need to hear that. Even people who are doing well at, whatever they're doing, you always need a reminder, just to stay true to who you are and, just kind of those foundations that you have and, excelling.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a lesson in that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Keep growing, keep developing. If the standard is here, you have to be here. And that's not just for us. Obviously, it's even more for us. But the way that we were always able to be successful on my team is that we were always being proactive, right? I would research, I would look for long-term things that we could do, that we could cultivate so that year over year, quarter over quarter, month over month, we coming out the gate on top. So you always need to be in a mode of developing, of evolution, of whatever that standard is. I have to be here so that when the change comes, which it's going to come, you're already there. So now you've added value. Your value proposition is already up here because you're already thinking in that mode.
Value proposition. Well, whoo. That girl using them terms, ain't she, Rep?
That's a gem.
Hey, man, listen. Man, look, I don't even know what I want to ask no more because like you just dropping so much. But I do want to know this, right? So I remember, having a conversation with you after I got out of college, and I was in between acting and playing arena football, and I was just considering whatever the world may have had for me. And you kind of called and you was like, well, if you want to get into pharmaceuticals, this is what you do. And you gave me a rundown of how to get into it and how to be successful. So without giving too much, or making it too lengthy, because our conversation probably was an hour long knowing you. But what is the easiest way, or not easiest, what is the best way you would suggest that somebody get into the industry, or not even get into, but like head towards getting into the industry? Like, what are some steps and some advice you would give to them?
Yeah, so obviously create a network of people who's in the industry. I can't stress that enough about creating a network, right? Of wherever you're trying to go, you need to have people that's within that network so that they can help you, because oftentimes I typically interview more people that were referred to me than I did people that came straight through. So you want to create that network. You want to cultivate and nourish and create a plan with those people that's in that network. If you're trying to get in from the sales perspective, obviously you need to have sales experience, and it doesn't have to be pharmaceutical experience. You need to have a proven track record of results in whatever you're selling, and don't get so caught up in my saying sales. Sales is no more than an influence and behavior, right? I didn't have pure sales experience, but I was able to articulate the fact that I can move people to action, right? I can get results. I can operate on short-term deadlines. I can operate in high-pressure situations. I have a drive, determination, and gut to continue to win. So all of those kind of characteristics are things that we look for in individuals that's trying to get into sales. And then I would say go in and create your identification or a profile in all of these different pharma companies. Do your research. Get on LinkedIn and connect with everything smoking in pharma in the area that you're interested in. And then lastly, you don't have to get in sales to get in pharma. There's marketing, there's IT, there's so many, there's compliance, there's, every possible type of skill set or whatever, HR, that you could possibly imagine that people don't think about because they just think about the sales part of it. And you do the same thing, but definitely don't be tunnel vision about just getting into pharma for the sales part of it. So those would kind of be the 1, 2, 3 steps that I'd say you want to do.
So I got a question then. What is your big, hairy, audacious goal? We talk about that in the business world of like, what is your goal? Like, what is your out of the box, trying to send a rocket to the moon type of goal for yourself? Because, you always got to kind of have those to kind of keep your level up, that energy up you need to get from level to level. Because, one day you may wake up and you're the CEO. So what is your like big, hairy, audacious goal?
C-suite. I don't have to think about it because I just did my career development plan for the senior vice president of the company, and my goal is to get the senior VP for strategic operations.
Okay.
plus 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
Whew. She ain't have to think about that thing,
I
boy.
already got it right here, right now.
All right. So what is one thing that you love about the pharmaceutical industry, and what is one thing that you don't like as much or dislike?
Yeah. I love the grind. I love that it stretches me within that grind in ways that I could have never probably imagined. So that's the one thing that I love. And I'm in a totally different space right now, right? I'm not on the sales side. I'm on the other side of the house. I'm on the opposite side, but the grind is still there because it's a biotech company. We pioneer innovation, right? So it's always grinding. I thrive off that. I thrive off intensity and deadlines and all those things. So I love that. The one thing I don't like, probably the politics of it. Sorry, Jeremy. There's a lot of politicking. I mean, come on, it's biotech, it's pharma. We know that. I mean, my CEO is the chairman of the pharma board, and it's just there's lobbying, there's all sorts of things, and within everything that you're trying to do, there's a level of politics that you have to deal with new entrants into the market, payers, pricing constraints, all these different things that no matter what role you're in the company, you're going to feel that. And that thing is going to press against what you're trying to accomplish. And you have to know how to work around it.
I mean, because at the end of the day, it's about pleasing your shareholders, right? And so, I mean, so if you got to do that, then essentially your CEO has to be a politician. He has to be on those pharma boards. He has to get those incentives. He has to be first to the market. He has to be first to get the patent. He has, all those things is basically what keeps you ahead of the market. And so it's politics at its finest on the corporation side. Like, so, I'm on the policy side, which I have the power, but then you have a adverse part that's the money part. So it's like, what part is more important, the money or the power, right? What moves what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And so that's like the plight of politics. And that's why that's why it is. That's how it is. That's why it is how it is.
Yeah. And if you think about it, so if the Republican Party, right, what do they want? They don't bother us. They let us do our thing. The Democratic Party, they want lower prices. They want us to get drugs from Canada. They want slice and dice everything. They want cheaper prices for drugs. But there's a trade-off for cheaper prices for drugs because then we can't innovate. We can't research. We can't create innovations that cure cancer and rheumatoid arthritis and all these different diseases. It's not cheap, especially from a biologic perspective. So it's a fine, delicate line, fine balance that you have to walk, and all of that presses against everything that we're trying to accomplish.
That's right. The consumer, it's the consumer and the seller, right? And so it's like the Democrats want to make it affordable for families, where it's like the business part of it, well, we got to make money, right? And it's like no one wants to take the bulk of the cost. So it gets shifted, right? It's like, okay, pharma, then it's like the insurance, and then it's like it goes to the citizen. And so that's kind of whether it's on the state level, federal level, that's what you fight each and every day, 100%. Right? Like,
yes.
Boy, you sound like a politician who getting his MBA.
Yeah.
My boy get an MBA.
Yeah.
Hold on. Executive MBA.
Get it right. Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up, man. So, you told us your long-term goal, which you said 5 to 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You want to hit that?
Yep.
Okay. If your CEO came to you and said, "Okay, my little brother is in that position. He's going to be there for 20 years. You can have anything else. What do you want, Miss Freeman? What would you choose? Another position."
If he said his little brother was in that position, I mean, that's the other thing that's great about this industry is that I don't have to wait. That goal is my goal, and I don't have to. Amgen has to fit into what my goal is. There's like 5 to 10 other. I don't know how many companies out there that has that same, role.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to bend to Amgen. Amgen is trying to bend to me at that point because I'm trying to create a value.
Say that again.
I'm not trying to bend to them. They're trying to bend to me at that point because
Okay.
I'm trying to create a value for myself, my value, to the point to where they are bending and stretching to Stephanie, not Stephanie bending and stretching to them.
The unreasonable man. You need to read that quote. The unreasonable man.
Yeah.
You know.
You got to know your self-worth.
Yeah, I
And
love that
when
quote.
you know your self-worth, you move differently.
That's right.
I'm glad I asked that question because that's another gem too.
Right.
A lot of people are loyal to these companies that don't give two about them when they got other opportunities elsewhere, and they won't take them because they're being loyal to a name. So yeah,
and you have to work for whatever. You're Jock Incorporated, Stephanie Incorporated. That's the way you have to look at it, because if Amgen decides, if they decide their stakeholders will be happier if they could cut Steph tomorrow to save however many hundreds of thousands of dollars, guess what? They're going to do it, and they're not going to think twice about it. And they're not going to look at it and say, hey, I'm cutting Stephanie. They're going to say, hey, I'm cutting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my employee number, and it doesn't have a face to it because that's the best for them. So you always have to have a certain level, yes, be loyal, but not to a fault to where you're not always thinking about yourself and putting yourself first in the process.
Gems.
Yeah, they just definitely gems.
Oh man, my agent calling me. I call it back.
Put in my pocket.
Yes, sir. Make sure you don't got no hole in it now.
All
right. So we reached one of my favorite segments here.
Okay.
It's time to step up to the podium, Ms. Freeman. And if you watch the show, you know what this means. So this is the part of the show where we ask you a series of questions, and you don't have 20 days to think about it, which I'm not worried about you because I already know you got to answer on the day. So just give me the answer. I'm going to ask you a series. I'm going to let, if the fellas, y'all got any questions y'all want to add to the podium?
She done added.
I mean, if I think of something, but she pretty much done hit most of the target.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Are you looking for one-word answers?
No. You can elaborate. I just don't need you to looking in the sky, thinking about it for 5 minutes. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. First question. And this question stems from your history, which you didn't go too deep in it. You kind of tapped it, but you didn't go too deep in it. But I want to know because a lot of people can learn from you. Okay. You know, you can be an example, right?
Okay.
What advice would you give to a teenage mother whose family don't really support them, and they're looking to do some big astronomical thing, but they just had a kid and they're 17, 18 years old? What advice would you give to them?
Never ever give up, and let your child be the driving force for what you're going to accomplish. And I know that because I was a teenage mom myself. I had my daughter when I was 14, and immediately she became the driving force for every single thing that I wanted to accomplish, because what I wanted to do is I wanted her to see no matter what you go through in life, no matter what life throws at you, you can accomplish anything. And so, you know, that's the lesson that I would say is let your kid be your driving force and lean not on your own understanding, but always, you know, lean on Christ to lift you up, because you're going to go through some stuff as a single parent that no person should probably go through. But if you have Christ on your side, if you have a support system, whomever that may be, it doesn't have to be your parents. Find somebody that can sow into your life, that can pray for you and encourage you. It's about who you surround yourself with that can feed and sow into that. And let your child be your driving force, and don't ever give up, and just keep pushing.
Whew.
That's a great answer.
Hey, look, I just couldn't let the podcast end without you touching on that, because what you've accomplished with that being the case, you know, you being a 14-year-old mom is like, you know, it's very, very rare, you know, and we just can't tread over that. So I appreciate you.
I'll tell you something. I can't tell you, I won't sit here and tell you. I know people like, oh man, she just had it easy. I promise you, I think my mom was a single parent. We didn't have tons and tons of money and all this stuff. My mom was amazing. Her strength is something that feeds me and all those things. But I can tell you that there were times when I was like, this is not worth it. I should just call it quits. It's not worth it. And I constantly question, and I'm saying this because I know a young mom is doing the same thing. Why me? Why me? Why did I have to have this baby? Why am I going on this road? I thought I was a good person. I go to church. I'm a good person, da, 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 da. And then it wasn't until one day I was in college and I just fell on my knees and God just, you know, said to me, why not you? Why not you? I chose you for a reason. I chose you for a purpose. And from that moment on, he lifted me up off that floor. And from that moment on, I never looked back. And I began to then sow into the life of anybody that I came in contact with that I felt like was going through something, young people, whatever. It became my purpose. My pain became my purpose. My test became my testimony. And it just invigorated me to continue to move on and to continue to help people and sow into the lives of others.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the women, man, especially the black women. We got, you know.
Hold on. Say that again, rap.
I said, shout out to the women, especially the black women, because you know, we can all, you know, all the time say, you know, men and women, but when you actually have to birth something, right, and then you have to care for it, you know, however long, right? A lot of times it ain't just like 18, it's like sometimes for life, right?
Yeah.
You got to, you know, even you a man and it's a man's world and all that, you have to understand who has the real power on this earth. So, you know, I just commend all the women, especially the ones who, you know, had to do it on their own, right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to kind of, you know, pinpoint our sisters, because, you know, all women go through this, not just black women, but, you know, the black women, they blacken their women. So they're the double minority. And so you have the toughest battle. So me and Jock talked about this, and one day it was me, Jock, Jizzle, and Andrew. It's about like, don't pray for it to be easy. Pray for you to have the strength to carry the burden. You know, just because it won't be easy at the end of the day.
And what's the purpose, right? Like I began to see, what is the purpose? If you chose me, why did you choose me? So then that became something for me. Like whenever I would go through something, I began to seek the purpose behind it, right? Like, what are you trying to get me to see that I don't see? And what are you trying to get me to do or prepare me for going forward? Because we all go through something for something, right? And so, and you know, and then and with my daughter, the one that I had at 14, guess what? She has a master's degree now. She has a great job. She's living her life. So I didn't want to be in a space where, you know, a lot of statistically, when the teenage mother has a kid, the kid has a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's statistically what happens. So I tried to learn not from my mistakes as much as what do I need to do to prevent this from happening from Ashley. So here comes the additional education, talking about body parts, talking about peer pressure, talking about, you know, faith in Christ, talking about praying when you're in high school and you can be as cool as you want to be and still love Christ, talking about having a plan, talking about having good credit, all the stuff that we as a people don't typically do as much because we don't know to do it. I started to sow into her those things so that she would live a life better than what I had lived. And so, you know, you have to do those things. But that's going back to that purpose again. Right.
Oh yeah. You tapped on the next question. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask it. Favorite Bible verse? I know you got 17,000. Let's just give me one.
I know. I think it's Isaiah 40. I think it's Isaiah 43, 1-12 or something like that. But that one is where when you go through the waters, I'll always be with you. When you go through the fire, you won't get burned. That's one of my favorite. And then the other one is, for I know the plans and the purpose that I have for you, and they are to prosper you and not to hurt you. Those two I love, 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 love.
Okay. All right. So the next question, and this question derives from who I am and what I do. But I feel like your life is anointed, and what you've done is big already. But I can only imagine where you're going and like the lives you'll touch. So with that being said, if they were to make a movie based on Stephanie Freeman, a biopic, who would you want to play you?
Ooh, is this an actor that I'm choosing?
Yeah.
What about Fantasia Barrino?
Okay, you're a Fantasia fan.
I do, but I'm a fan of her life story. Is kind of similar to mine.
It is.
So I think, and you can see that she's gone through ups and downs and all arounds, but then where she sits now, and I think her faith has always been steadfast. So I think she would do a really good job.
Ooh, okay.
Tap into the character.
Yeah, she definitely could tap into that thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next question. And I don't know if I don't think you said this one, but I know you said one of them. So you can choose to live in one place for the rest of your life: Egypt or Santorini, Greece.
Ooh, Santorini.
Man, you're a sellout, man. You're supposed to go to the crib.
I love beautiful water.
You're supposed to go to Cairo, man.
I'm sorry.
Tell me you was already you got dropped off over there a long time ago. You just going
right. I love water. I love beautiful water. There's something so serene, and I always see the water and just start praising God because it's just something about the water that speaks of His presence to me.
Yeah.
Jock, I got one question before you ask the last question.
Okay.
You got one more, right?
Yeah, I only got
one.
All
right. So I want to ask you, what is your leadership style? So, you know, you talk about leadership style in your MBA program. What kind of leader are you?
Coaching. I'm a coach. Okay. Yeah. I love, my thing is to empower the strengths of others, right? To empower their strengths so that we can all kind of work together toward a common goal. But I just basically feed into whatever that is and what motivates them. And then once I figure that out, then I just coach to that to try to stir up the gift that they already have. And once you do that, a person, they're going to run through walls. They're going to always excel because they're always going to be inspired and motivated because you're tapping into the thing that drives them.
So what is your biggest asset then? Is it your gift of gab? Is it your motivation? Is it your charisma? Is it what is that one thing that you say, like, when I do this, I can pretty much seal the deal? Like, it's just something unique to you. Other people have it, but it's
Mhm.
unique to your DNA.
Being able to move people to action. I'm
Okay.
very good at that. And I think I had to give these to our senior VP last week. I think the 5 that I had chosen was, let's see, he had asked me something similar to that question.
Man, don't act like you ain't got it rolled down. You got it
I
right
got
there
it
in
right
front of you.
here.
I
I got it right here. So he had asked me something similar to that. And he said, if you were to tell me in 3 to 5 words who you are and exactly like what you said. And I said, driven, resilient, intuitive, visionary, strategic, and a leader.
Okay. I like that.
Checking all the boxes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, check all the boxes right there.
Because they make you kind of sum that up so they can get an idea of who you think you are. So they can tap into that. So I do definitely, I characterize moving people to action under that leadership part. I characterize moving people to action in my ability to have the vision enough to know how I need to move a team, or how I need to move the team to move a process, or how I need to move a team to be strategic, or being intuitive enough to know when the train is going off the rails and all those sorts of things. So it all kind of comes under that umbrella of moving people to action, I guess.
You got something just before I ask the grand finale?
She done did everything I need. She brought everything to the table.
Yes, sir. Okay, so last question.
Okay.
My favorite question. You can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with 3 different people. They can be living or they could be passed on. But this is your choice. Anybody. You can choose 3 people. One person to have breakfast with, one person to have lunch, one person to have dinner with. Mm-hmm. Who would those 3 people be and why?
I want to have breakfast with my Mama E, and you know who that is.
Yeah, my great grandmother.
He was my aunt / mama. She's more mama than she was aunt. I would have lunch with Paul and dinner with Jesus.
Lunch with Paul?
Yep.
And dinner with Jesus.
Yep.
But I think Paul are first.
That is first.
Yeah, I don't think nobody said Paul. Why Paul? Why would you want to have lunch with Paul?
I think Paul was, I think he's so freaking interesting. I think he was a great leader. I've kind of studied his leadership and how he was able to build the church and how he was able to move people to action, which draws me to him. His resilience, his being willing to stand for Christ, to be crucified for Christ. He was super intelligent, yet he channeled that in a way that he needed to get to build the church and to bring people to Christ. So I just think he was just super awesome and just bad to the bone. So
and he was Saul, so he had a pass too. So
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's good. I like that. So that's people, good. Y'all go study him, because I know none of y'all want to chose him to go to lunch with. Where you gonna take him to eat? Where you gonna take him?
I don't know where I'm gonna take him. We're gonna go eat seafood, probably.
Where you gonna take Jesus though?
Where am I gonna take him? We're going to a soul food restaurant, maybe.
You and Jesus? You think Jesus wants soul food?
Yes. He wants to know all about it. He's the man of the soul. Of course he wants to know food.
I heard about this macaroni thing that y'all eating.
I don't eat that. I don't eat that. I don't eat no macaroni and cheese. I don't eat dairy. But what I will tell you guys, just as a side note, I'm studying right now, though. I'm studying about David, and I started David and Solomon, actually. So I started studying about David when I first was promoted to the regional sales director role, because no matter what David did, no matter how he failed, he would always seek Christ's direction for his people. So as I have these 77 people, I had to ground myself in, these are his people. So I need him to show me before I make a move, before I set a strategy, before I set a priority. What do you want me to do for these, your people? So then when I got this other role, it's more of a continuous, innovative, and creative state. And I I know that I need wisdom to continuously be creative. So then I started studying Solomon, because remember, that was his thing, was that he prayed for wisdom for these your people. So while these people don't work directly for me, all of Amgen, all the stakeholders globally, these are still his people. So I need you to give me wisdom so that I'll know how to impact these your people. So that's what I'm studying now.
I like that, because we also can talk about how David had it all, and when he was in his purpose, he was good with God, right? And then
Yes.
when he got outside of his purpose and he wanted more, right? He wanted things that even didn't belong to him. His blessing was passed to Solomon, and that's why Solomon essentially prayed for wisdom, because he didn't want to fall short like his dad did. So he was able to, build all these, all of these things that was really promised to David. It was promised to David, but it was given, because God basically said that you won't be the person. I'm gonna give it to your son. And so so Solomon just kind of went with it, and he kind of was kind of like, the ark builder. He just killed it.
For sure.
Solomon is that man. Solomon
Yeah,
is
that's
that
right.
guy.
I mean, he fell short some, obviously, because he's human, but heart like David and the wisdom of Solomon is a perfect package to have. And then leadership like Paul and Jesus, because Paul and Jesus both.
Jesus heart like David and the wisdom of Solomon. That's going on IG.
That's
going on IG, right? That's hold on. Let me write that down.
Let's say bar.
Hey, JJ, don't let me catch you putting that in one of your.
Hey, definitely. Hey, bar. I give you some writers credit with Jesus.
Heart like David and the wisdom of Solomon. Hey, look, they're going on my name. Let me go find this picture.
He go.
Hey, nah, man. Real talk though. Listen, we can talk all day. We ain't gonna hold the people that's watching all day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But so the last thing we do, the gym of elevation. Gym elevation is a quote, a passage, a scripture, something that our guests that we have on triggers or it represents them. So the gym elevation that I chose today, I felt like represented you from my perspective of growing up watching you. So when I was, let's see, when you probably were 19, I probably was 5 or 6.
I think you're going too far.
You trying to tell on your low end.
I ain't going too far. Listen now. Listen, it's all coming together. The world, look, all they gotta do is Google you. They can find out everything. But
you out here, man.
I think I was 5 or 6, and that's when I remember paying attention to just how you moved and like the things you were doing in life. And it was different. I knew whatever you was doing was different than what I was seeing at the crib. When we would, I would come down to AUN with my mama, or, I would come to Atlanta when you were at Ann's or whatever the case may be. I couldn't articulate what it was, but I knew something was different about what you were doing, right? And that's what I wanted to be, when I grew up. And now that we're adults, the conversations that we have, it holds true. So the quote that I found today is, people who end up as first don't actually set out to be first. They set out to do something that they love or that they're called to do.
Wow.
And I feel like that holds true to you. And because you were the path that you're on, nobody in our family had done. It was not something that you saw, growing up in Salem, Alabama. What I'm doing, it wasn't something that I saw growing up. I didn't see any actors. Representative didn't have any representatives in his family. You know what I'm saying? Right. JJ mama ain't no rapper. You know what I'm saying? So, like the things that we set out to do, we didn't set out necessarily to be first. We set out to do it because we loved it and we were called to do it. So that's just a nod to you, to keep doing what you're doing, because, you were definitely anointed. And when you fell on your knees that night in college, I felt like that was the trigger you needed to drive you to the place that you're going. because you're nowhere close to where you're going. You know what I'm saying? I just want to put that out there. And I don't know if I ever told you. I'm sure I have at some point because I'm always telling people I'm proud of them. I love them, but I'm super proud of you. I brag on you all the time, like the things that you've been able to accomplish, the examples you've been able to set for me have caused me to make less mistakes than I would have made had I not had you as an example along the way. So thank you.
That's so awesome. That made me cry.
Yeah, I'm about to tell him my stuff, girl. I'm gonna mess up my makeup.
Well, the feeling is mutual. Ditto. I'm proud of you too. You're doing things nobody in our family has done. So I'm so proud.
Yeah, man. Look. So yeah, we're not gonna hold you too long. Gonna end on that. Y'all got anything to add?
No, you know how to close it out. You know how to close it out, Stephanie? Because if you know how to close it out, then you've been watching it.
Oh my God, no, I can't remember.
Put on the spot. All this knowledge.
I
thought you was in there. I thought you was in there.
I thought you was gonna go in the phone and got on and figure it out.
No,
it's cool. I got you. Okay. Until next time, stay elevated, my friends.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We out.
Okay.
Hey, thank you, Queen.
Hi, guys.
Love you.
Elevate your grind.
Yes, well, EYG.